Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at another event vehicle which is coming into the game for the next Build-A-Bear event. This is the Shcherbakov, and what you have here is a pretty standard Soviet-like cruiser. It's a Project 68 which was supposed to be enhanced and added to, but never finished. So instead you get what would have been the finished version in the game. It has access to the classic 152s, so these are triple mounted, 4 sets of them. These 152s you'll pretty much see on a lot of these light cruisers for the Soviets. They really like them, and they have okay fire rate, not as good as other guns of similar caliber from other nations, but good enough is probably the way to put it. It also has the 100mm backing it up. It has 6 turrets of them of dual mounts, so you can see them here, here, and here, and then also on the other side. These will offer good secondary support in separate roles. They're pretty modern 100mm, since this is technically a post-World War II machine, so they do have, or should have, access to some pretty cool stuff. And then if you have a look at what would be classed as the AA armament, but might be more classed as just a secondary battery armament, you have the 45mm, you have 6 quad mounts of these, and as somebody who's played a lot of the Soviet Blue Water Fleet, there's a few vehicles which have access to these, destroyer-wise, and they're really good. Like, they're fantastic to use. Then also it has 8 dual-mounted 37mm. You can see them here. So, a ton of different calibers. You can see the other quad here. A ton of different calibers, and a ton of different guns all over the place. As an AA machine, this thing will be pretty good. It's 6-0 right now as well, just sat here, so we'll see what happens with it. It's also rank 5, so it's the highest rank in Naval right now, meaning that for events and also mission score stuff, it'll be really good for that. So this might be one of those vehicles to kind of invest into if you want to do future events, since, you know, once BR decompression happens, this thing will become king of the roost, because it will be at the second top BR of the game. You can see here, it has massive ammo racks for the 152s. It also has a bunch of little ammo racks all over the place for the other guns. The engines take up the majority of the center of the vehicle though, with 2 separate smokestacks, so that will be how to identify it. And then it has this fire director, which isn't anything special really. You know, 10 seconds update time, 18 seconds calculation time. I would expect for a machine like this to have a slightly better one, but unfortunately it doesn't. The armor, it is a light cruiser, so it isn't exactly crazily armored. It does have a lot of crew, 1270, and 100mm worth of armor on the belt, so you will be able to at least stop some things, not a huge amount, but at least there's something there to hold the ammo from getting blown up. There's also 130mm on the ammo elevators and 175 on the front of the turret, so if they get hit, it'll have to be some AP, unless it won't penetrate. The bridge also has 130 on it, so that makes it a little bit easier too, to be able to survive some shots, at least from HE. You got some random area here, which there doesn't seem to be anything, at least on the damage model. That's also 120mm. I'm not entirely sure what this is, maybe a radio room or something. It's just not modeled yet. Maybe, well, there's a radio station here, so I don't really know what's going on. It just seems to be just a random piece of really armored area here. Weirdly enough. But yeah, it also has access to a few other things. You can see here it has a search radar on it, so it can at least detect stuff coming in, so that will help it a lot. And of course, this is an event vehicle, so you'll have to grind out all the modules on it. You won't be able to get them all for free, since it isn't a premium. But the 100mm guns get access to HE, HETF, HE with a base fuse, and also HEVT. So you can see, very multi-purpose, generally going to be good for dealing with a lot of vehicles, a lot of smaller vehicles, and also a lot of planes. You should be able to just bop them out the air. For the 152s, you get access to HE stock with okay penetration. Then you get the APC-BC, which pens the 33, 254, 116. Then you got the SAPBC, which is less pen but higher explosive mass. So this one is like the highest pen round with less explosive mass. This is the middling round, and this is the one with the most explosive mass but less penetration. Then you've also got a HETF round, which actually has 10 kilos of TNT equivalent and also more actual penetration than the standard HE. So this actually has more boom in it than all of the others, surprisingly enough. Normally, at least from what I've seen, HEVT shells specifically actually are the same as the HE in terms of explosive mass, but this one is very different. It also has access to all the other standard stuff. No hydroplane on this one, unfortunately. And also no torpedoes or no additional things. So it basically just is a gun cruiser, and that's it. There's nothing else here for it. But at least you'll be able to grind it out. No real issues. You can see here with the RP costs, I will once again take this time. Why is toolset and fire protection the same modification cost as the other ones? This should be rectified. They should be lower. It should be equality between naval and ground. Then you can see actually the RP, apart from the last modules here, is actually not too bad. You know, 10,000, 9,000, 10,000. Like for something which is a rank 5 vehicle, that's not too bad in my opinion. It also does have some camos since they got added recently. It does keep the 627 and also I believe it does have its name on it somewhere. Not entirely sure. It does have the red star though, which is pretty cool. Has the Arctic camo as well, and also the monochrome deforming camo, which is super nice. So a lot of cool stuff for the Shcherbakov, and also I can show you some of its other parts as well. The vehicle does have some pretty cool features on it. So if we swap to the 100, and then if we swap to the AA, for some reason I don't think it's modeled properly yet. Oh, never mind, it is. It's just not counting them all as different guns, which is a bit odd. But yeah, you've got the search radar, so you can do the good old search radar and track. And of course, you can fire off all the guns. I don't think the guns are working properly yet for the AAs. Like they, at least like when I was targeting them there, they don't seem to be working too well. But you can see the 45s can pretty much just annihilate anything they want to, and the 152s are going to have a good time against a lot of targets too. So the one thing I like doing with stuff like this is ranging shot, so you can create kind of a barrage. And the 152s, at least against stuff like destroyers, will do a decent amount of damage, and because of the reload rate, you can see that there's only about 3 seconds where you aren't firing them, so not as good as something like a Helena as we talked about, but still generally pretty nice. And you can just keep racking up the shots over and over again, which is really nice for the vehicle, you know. That's kind of what you want. You don't want something to, you know, make it so the enemy can have like a reprieve from your shots. And overall, you know, the 152s for the Soviets are able to do that. This is very similar to some of the other vehicles that we've seen in the game, but it is slightly different, at least when it comes to its secondary armament. It would be nice if we got a little bit more variation when it comes to the prizes, but I also understand that that's kind of like what naval is. You know, you don't really have too many similar vehicles like the QN for the Chinese for naval. A lot of machines, since they're so large, are built upon others that you've seen before. As always, though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R. and Lafouche for supporting the channel.